Hi, this is Timble. My platform is to share instructional tips and inspiration. Welcome for another round of Power Up Your Instruction. For those who are new in this channel, please hit subscribe. Please subscribe for the latest instructional tips and inspirational journey of a global teacher, and thank you. In this webinar session entitled Finding and Focusing First Steps to Remote Teaching and Learning, our speaker will guide us on planning our remote classroom. This webinar is our way of building bridges in the new normal. Our guest speaker is a teacher of the New York City Public Schools. He joined the New York City Public Schools in 2004 as a middle school science teacher and later in 2018 became a high school teacher. He is at present teaching living environment at the Bronx International High School. He is a fellow of the New York City's The Academy of Teachers, a certified Edmodo Trainer, and a Level 1 Certified Google Educator. He began to innovate his science class as early as 2014 and incorporated information communication technologies in enhancing literacy and scientific skills among his students. Because of this innovation in his classroom, he received the 2014 Excellence in School Technology Award from the New York City Department of Education, the 2015 Blackboard Award for Teachers from the New York Family and Manhattan Media. In 2016, he also received the Margaret Ashita STEM Leadership Award from the New York State STEM Education Collaborative and the Empire STEM State Learning Network, and the 2017 Lee H. Bryant Outstanding Teacher Award from the New York State Association for Computers and Technology in Education. Our guest speaker is Marvin Cador-Nigara, and let us now start our webinar session with him.
A pleasant day to everyone. This is your colleague Marvin, joining all of you in your journey to discovery, decision making, and most especially to making the best of what remote learning or blended learning is challenging all of us. The challenge may seem insurmountable, but we believe that teachers become better versions of each other. As the saying goes, iron sharpens iron. I'm sharing my thoughts through my presentation that is titled Focus on Digital Portfolio and Learning Management System. I have seen how my home country has been hit by the pandemic that has all of a sudden changed the way we all look at education. I have seen this change coming since 2010 when I had the opportunity to immerse myself in the 21st century learning scenario. There is a lot going on in terms of professional development workshops, webinars, and trainings. I wish to share my thoughts at this point of time on how schools, administrators, and teachers can prepare for the sudden switch to remote or blended learning. At present, there are two premises of pedagogy that administrators and teachers can understand. The first is the 21st century learning design, which I shall describe briefly. The second one is the principle of remote or blended learning in the context of practice, which I shall also describe briefly. It had been about 5 centuries that formal education in the Philippines was established since the 16th century. We can therefore expect colossal changes in the educational system. As we embark on these present demands of education, business, and enterprise, we cannot close our eyes to the reality that there are 21st century skills that our students need to learn. After all, why should we call them digital natives in the first place if they don't even learn these 21st century skills? In 2010, the Innovative Learning Research Project was initiated through the sponsorship of Microsoft Partners in Learning, and the organization surveyed the business and corporate world to find out what are the skills that are needed for the present generation to thrive in the present workplace. There are 6 learning skills that are identified by the 21st century learning design. I will just mention them one by one, but we shall not spend time describing them. The first skill is collaboration. The second skill is knowledge construction. The third is self-regulation. The fourth is real-world problem solving and innovation. The fifth is skilled communication. And the sixth and the last one is the use of information and communication technology for learning. I would highlight ICTs, for this is what we are training ourselves at present. This is where we find our survival skills, since we all learned and have practiced in our classes all the other skills except this. This topic of 21st century learning design is another avenue for a webinar, which you can request ahead of time so we can prepare for this. The other pedagogical premise that we can ponder upon is blended learning. The Online Learning Consortium defines blended learning as a course where 30% to 70% of the instruction is delivered online. The Blended Learning Toolkit describes blended courses as hybrid or mixed mode courses, classes where a portion of the traditional face-to-face instruction is replaced by web-based online learning. The blended learning universe, for me, has the most compelling definition. It defines blended learning as a formal education program in which a student learns in three parts: online, away from home, and along a learning path. Here are the descriptions of ways that students can learn online, students can learn away from home, and students can learn along a learning path, which is basically what we call modular learning. As we consider 21st century skills and blended learning all together, we are confronted with this challenge of blending our students' learning with an online platform, a face-to-face encounter in the physical classroom, and integrated modalities of learning. So how do we do these? Based on my experience with innovating and flipping my science classroom, integrating ICTs into my curriculum, and engaging students to collaborate in real time despite their distance from each other, I wish to lay down these proposals. First, schools need to have a corporate digital portfolio. When I say corporate, I mean administration, teachers, staff, and students have one and the same digital storage system in the cloud. Schools can be prepared for blended learning when everyone has this online portfolio that they can access anywhere they are and can share files with each other. While teachers employ this as their digital portfolio, students can call this as their digital backpack. The next capability that schools need at present is to have a learning management system. This is simply the school's virtual classroom where everyone in the learning endeavor can engage in learning with one another. The administrators, teachers, guidance counselors, students, and even parents. At this point of time, when teachers are thrilled, delighted, eager, and excited to prepare for blended learning in the coming weeks, I wish for administrators and teachers to focus on these two. I am not saying that all the other learning platforms that you are learning or already have learned are not useful at all. As we point our laser focus on these two aspects of pedagogy, I believe with all my heart that we can best prepare for the opening of schools soon. When schools employ a digital portfolio, everyone can share, collaborate, and engage in one or more documents, activities, projects, endeavors, or collective efforts in real time, even when they are distant from each other. I cannot say enough that this potentiality is perfect for blended learning. The next potentiality is a learning management system. With an LMS, teachers can gather students in one online classroom where collaboration and engagement, access to learning materials, and assessments can be done even when teachers and students are distant from each other. An LMS can invite supervisors, head teachers, team teachers, guidance counselors, speech therapists, paraprofessionals into the online classroom so they can continue to provide the learning and the support in blended learning situations. Students can communicate and engage in learning with one another. They can collaborate on any assignment. They can complete assignments and projects within the online classroom. And parents can be invited too so they can check on their own child's progress in class. I can also say, and I cannot say enough, that this potentiality is also perfect for blended learning. So here are my approaches to blended learning. First, we teach our students how to use a digital portfolio so they can access, they can store, and they can retrieve learning materials through this digital portfolio. They can work with a partner, a team, or the whole class on a given task or project using the different apps within the portfolio. They can access, they can complete, and they can retrieve assessments and quizzes through this digital portfolio. Next, we teach students how to be both responsible digital natives and digital citizens through an online learning management system. Students can have a social media platform in the classroom where they can engage and interact with teachers and students, collaborate with other students, access learning materials, and access and complete projects and assignments. Now the challenge is, how do we teach our students access, storage, and retrieval of learning materials? How do we teach them the skills of collaboration and engagement, as well as digital literacy and digital citizenship? So here is the deal of this presentation. Teachers can first train for these skills to prepare them for the opening of schools. We can streamline the preparations to two. First, digital portfolio, and second, learning management system. With these two focus points, administrators and teachers can decide which platforms to use. Schools can decide on which suite platform they want to use in school. Both G Suite and Office 365 Education are suite platforms. That is, they have a package of applications embedded within their suite, and these apps are seamlessly integrated with each other. Meaning to say, you can use one or more apps on a single app that you are working with. You can compare how Google Drive and OneDrive look. In terms of functionality, they both can store files in the same way. Teachers can create folders and files and upload various types of files in both drives. You can also compare Google Classroom and Microsoft Teams. In terms of functionality, they both can provide engagement, collaboration, access, and submission capabilities. Teachers can upload materials and assignments, as well as allow students to work on the same documents for assignments or projects. In each of these apps, administrators can share and collaborate on files with teachers. Teachers can share and collaborate on files with other teachers. Teachers can share files with students, and students can share and collaborate on files with other students. In each of these suites, there are word processors, spreadsheets, presentations, and surveys that are available as powerful tools to use in the classroom. Word processors are known as Google Docs for G Suite and Microsoft Word for Office 365. Spreadsheets are referred to as Google Sheets in G Suite and Microsoft Excel in Office 365. Presentations are called Google Slides in G Suite and Microsoft PowerPoint in Office 365. Surveys are using Google Forms for G Suite and Microsoft Forms for Office 365. With both Google Docs and Microsoft Word, teachers can create, can store, can retrieve, and can share lesson plans, interactive teaching modules, and interactive lesson text. Students, on the other hand, can collaborate with each other in writing their essay reports or research projects. There are many other capabilities of Google Docs and Microsoft Word as a word processor. Notice how similar are Google Docs and Microsoft Word in terms of interface and functionality. As word processors, they can be powerful tools in both teaching and learning in the online classroom. With both Google Sheets and Microsoft Excel, teachers can create, can store, can retrieve, and can share gradebooks, activity timelines, and collect information from surveys and results of assessment, quizzes, and examinations. Students can also collaborate with each other in the analysis of trends in their experiments, can record experimental or research data in their data record books, and can create graphs to analyze and represent their data. Notice how similar Google Sheets and Microsoft Excel are. As a classroom tool, they can be useful in these examples to show data in a data table and create graphs to show trends among the data. With both Google Slides and Microsoft PowerPoint, teachers can create, store, retrieve, and share lesson presentation, group projects, interactive lessons, educational games, among many others. Students can collaborate with each other as they create project presentations from templates that the teacher shares with them as well. Now notice how similar Google Slides and Microsoft PowerPoint are. As a classroom tool, they can be useful in these examples as lesson presentations or collaborative project outputs. With both Google Forms and Microsoft Forms, teachers can create, can store, can retrieve, and can share surveys on student information, family background, as well as assessments and self-grading quizzes and examinations. These are very helpful since forms can already grade quizzes or examinations for the teachers and allow them to analyze test results. These are examples of Google Forms and Microsoft Forms. In these two examples, they are used as a survey and as a graded quiz, respectively. In both instances, they show their capacity to collect and store information about students. With both Google Classroom and Microsoft Teams, teachers can create classes, can invite students, can upload learning materials and modules, can assign collaborative projects, and can discuss questions with students. Teachers can post class announcements, allow materials to be accessed by students. They can post assignments, and they can engage students in discussion and collaboration. Students can also post, can respond to posts, can access learning materials and modules, can submit projects and assignments, and can receive their assessment and project grades, as well as feedback in the online classroom. Here you can see again Google Classroom and Microsoft Teams as learning management systems for the classroom. Both G Suite for Education and Office 365 Education offers an email account to administrators, teachers, and students. In terms of pricing, you can find a basic comparison between G Suite and Office 365 here. Both G Suite and Office 365 offers free corporate accounts for schools. These are the websites that you can apply for a G Suite account or an Office 365 account. So what is the next step to do? I am challenging the administrators and teachers to do a big favor for our students. The administrators have a choice of which suite to use in school, so the teachers can focus on one suite to train and be good at it. When teachers are trained and become their best selves using these online tools, then our students benefit much from learning and enjoying school remotely. Honestly, I am the kind of person who is shy to lay down my cards on the table. Moreover, I am the kind of teacher who would feel dejected whenever I offer my support and it is rejected. That is why I only wait for invitations. But if you are interested, I am more than willing to conduct hands-on workshops on Google tools. As a certified Google educator, we can learn together how to use Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, Google Forms, and Google Classroom. As I have done so in the past, I have trained teachers in the Philippines with these Google tools for a total of 6 hours hands-on. And let this gift, which I love so much, speak about my desire to extend help to my colleagues in the Philippines. I am inviting you to visit my website. It has all the 31 workshops that I have conducted since 2010 as a New York City educator. You can also take a peek into my class website when I taught 6th grade science until 2017. And you can email me through these 2 personal email addresses whenever you have questions or a need for support or advice. At your service, this is your colleague, Marvin, thanking you all for attending and listening. Happy teaching to everyone.